Right, today let's have a look at order of operations. We're going to do an upgrade from the old BODMAS BOMDAS, which we used to a concept I'd like to introduce called term lines. And the operations that we have available to us in the are the division, the multiplication, subtraction, addition, and then of course brackets. Not all questions require one to consider the order of operations. Like for example, our question 1 here. There are no multiplication and division or brackets in there. We're at what I call the straight collection phase, and I'll show you a nice little technique for that. Whereas when you look at questions 2, 3, 4, and 5, those have got addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, brackets all involved, and those are what I would call combination problems, and we have to kind of get it to the point where we're ready to collect. Now, the term line principle is quite straightforward. Basically, and it works with algebra as well, but if you have a number followed by a plus sign, or a number followed by a minus sign, or a closed bracket followed by a plus sign, or a closed bracket followed by a minus sign, we can insert a line in between those called a term line. And what that does is it separates the larger problem into a whole lot of small problems, which is a good technique for solving problems in life, so break it down into smaller problems. And if we take a look at question 1, like I said, we don't need to put those lines in here because we're dealing just straight with collection. And we know in mathematics that when you collect, it's all about like terms. And these are like numbers. And what makes numbers like is the power of 1 that sits above them, so we can collect them. So on the side, for example, if I take 3 plus 5, we would say that that's 8. But that's not going to be true if I say 3 squared plus 5 squared does not give us 8 squared. And the reason why we can do this question here, 3 plus 5, and not that, is because of the power of 1 that is sitting above here. And what we collect doesn't change, just how much of what we've got. So over here, all we have to do with question 1 is collect. So the technique which I'd like to show you about collecting, which is quite cool, is just create a little table like this, and let's go and collect all the positive numbers. Okay, first there's 3, and 5 is 8, and 12, that means we've got 20 positives. And then we can go and collect the negatives. There's 12, and 6 more, that's 18, and 10 more, that's 28. So we have 28 negatives competing against 20 positives. It's quite clear that there will be more negatives by 8. Right, so that was a straightforward sort of collection. If we move on to question 2 and use our term line principle, we can see that here's a number followed by times, so we're okay. Then there's a number followed by plus, so we can put a term line in between. Then there's a 7 followed by times and a 2, and we're done. So this problem is basically 2 smaller problems combined. 2 times 3 is 6, and 7 times 2 is 14. And we are at collection phase, so we can set up a little table here of positives and negatives. How many positives do we have? We've got 20 positives. There are no negatives in there, and so the positives will win by 20. If we consider question 3, our first term line will appear here because you've got a number followed by a plus sign. Then our next term line will appear after the 3. So this is a 3-term expression. As you can see, there's nothing we have to do with this 2. Unlike the 5 times 3 here, so that 2 is just going to remain. The 5 times 3 will give us the 15. And likewise, the minus 4 is on its own, it will simply remain. And we are now at the collection phase. And so we can set up a little table here. How many positives do I have? Well, there are 17 positives. There are 4 negatives, okay? And so we can see that the positives are going to win by 13. Question 4, we have a 6 followed by division, so no term line needed. 2 followed by a minus sign, that's where our first term line comes in. 3 followed by a plus sign, another term line. 5 followed by a minus sign, another term line. 6 divided by 2 is 3. The negative 3 remains. 2 times 5 is 10. And the negative 4 remains. We can set up our little table once again. And we've got positives and negatives. There are 3 and 10. That means there are 13 positives. Negative 3 and negative 4 leaves us with 7 negatives. That means we will have our positives winning by 6. Question 5. Our first term line will come after the negative 2. Next time we see we've got an open bracket, we can just skip right to the closed bracket because that's just housing everything inside there. And we've got a closed bracket followed by a positive sign, so that term is ended. A 4 followed by a minus sign, that term's ended. Now watch this one here. We've got a 2 followed by a times sign, followed by a 6, followed by a division sign, still not ended yet. Then a 3 followed by a plus sign, ended. Negative 2 is just negative 2. Negative 3 times negative 2 is positive 6. 4 just slots into place. We have negative 2 times 6 divided by 3. Well, 2 times 6 is 12, divided by 3 is 4, so this would be negative 4, and then the 1 slots into place. We can then set up a little table again of positives and negatives. I've got 11 positives, 6, 4, 1, and I've got 2, 6 negatives. That means the answer will be 5 because the positives win by 5.